These young people, some of them are good, they're very, very energetic, and they have a lot of ideas. So when some old guys leave, it gives room to the new generation to step in and bring energy, bring new ideas. So to some extent, it is good. But to a most extent, it is not good. On the negative side, it has a lot of disadvantages. So disadvantages is that we incur cost when someone goes away. Their costs. So their costs, we call them, there are some costs that we incur when someone leaves. For example, we have to recruit a new employees. Recruitment, it takes money to recruit someone. You have to advertise. You have to interview that person. And then you have to train that person. Even if you are knowledgeable in a particular area, you have to be trained, isn't it? Organization differs. So you have to be trained. When you're being trained, it is costly. And then also it forces management to incur some other cost. We call them preventive cost. Like now it has to, so we have what we call the replacement cost, like cost of training new employees, like recruitment cost. And then there's what we call the loss of output due to the gap between the time of leaving and the time of replacement. So there's loss of output. By the time someone is leaving and they're being replaced, there will be a gap. And in that particular gap, there will be loss of output. And then there will losses due to negligence of the new employee. So when you're new, you're still nervous. This is a new environment. We all know when you're in a new environment, it takes time. You want to impress. You are not yourself, isn't it? And by the time now you become yourself, you've made a lot of losses. That is how it works. By the time you now calm down to start really working, you've made a lot of losses. And then losses due to accident. You also, when you are new, you make losses. So what are the effects of labor turnover? We're saying we have positive effect where new employees can be promoted, and we have negative effect where we incur cost. These costs are subdivided into two. We have preventive cost and replacement cost. Now we go to the calculation aspect of labor remuneration. So you're expected to be able to compute the basic pay of a worker. So you're supposed to compute the basic pay. You need to know how to compute the basic pay. You need to know how to compute the bonus. And then number 3, overtime. And then the gross wage. So these are the things they examine under computation. So you should be in a position to compute the basic pay of someone. And then you should be able to compute their bonus, overtime, and the wage, gross wage, and the wage cost per unit. So how do you compute the basic pay? So the basic pay is computed in 2 ways. One, the minimum number of hours you're supposed to work in a week. The minimum number of hours you are supposed to work in a week. Mostly in Kenya, here, there are 8 hours. Is it 8 hours? 40 hours in a week, sorry. 8 hours in a day, and then 40 hours in a week. And then the agreed rate. So the rates differs, but the hours are almost same. So the basic pay is computed by the minimum number of hours a week times the rate per hour. So organizations pay differently. So there's that agreed rate. Others, they will tell you they're going to be paying you 100 per hour. Others 20, 50, 200, depending on the agreement. So that is the basic pay. If they have not given you the minimum number of hours in a week or in a period, then the basic pay, it is the number of hours worked times the rate per hour. And then bonus, in every job, in every particular assignment, you are given the minimum number of hours you're supposed to, the hours you're supposed to use to accomplish that particular assignment. So if you work less hours, in other words, you save hours. So bonus is paid based on this time saved. Time saved. So you do less hours, you accomplish the work within a less time. And then overtime is when you work above the minimum. When you work above the minimum hours, you're entitled to overtime. And then now the gross is the combination of the 3. So now in that particular handout I've given you, there is a question that was done in, you go down there, May 2005, the question I've written there. I hope you can be able to see the question. So we're doing labor remuneration. If you're an online student and you don't have the notes, you will tell us. We have these notes. Just tell us, we forward to you so that you can be able to enjoy the classes. Are we together? So we have a question there on the handout, or if you don't have the handout, it is May 205, question 3A. You have the past papers. So there's this question in May 205, question number 3A. May 2005, question number 3A. May 2005, question number 3A. So the question reads, RD Company Limited is considering the type of remuneration scheme to adopt for its employees. So the following information is available to you for your analysis. So we have employees, we have a table showing employees. We have an employee called Saidi, Mambo, Bogo, and Zainab. The actual hours worked, hourly rate of pay, and then we have output A and B. So we have that table, and then the standard time allowed per unit. And then for calculation of piecework earnings, the company values each minute at the rate of 0.4. Required, calculate the earnings for each employee using the basic Grandil hourly rate. So in other words, they want you to compute the basic pay of each employee. So the basic pay, so number one, they want us to compute the basic pay. So when you're computing the basic pay, we said you check whether you've been given the minimum number of hours, mostly in a week. If that is not the case, then it is the hours worked times the rate per hour. So up to that point where they want us to determine to where there is requirement, they haven't given us the minimum number of hours you need to work in a week. Therefore, we're going to multiply the hours worked times the rate per hour. Like now for Mambo, we have an employee called Mambo. Mambo is going to be the number of hours worked was 38 and the rate per hour is 30. So this is going to be the basic pay of Mambo. And then we have Saidi. Saidi, the basic hours worked is 36. Then you multiply by 20. Then we have Mbogo. Mbogo. $34 times 36. Eh? 40 times 25, this one. Or 40 times 25, sorry. Or that this is 36 times 20, it's okay. Yeah? This other one is 40 times. And then Zainab. 34 times. So unapata nini? Eh? 1140. Na huyo mwingine 720. Na huyo mwingine 1000. Na huyo mwingine 1225. 1224. 1224. So that is the basic pay. Yeah. And then they want us to piecework rate. Piecework rates. Piecework is where you are either paid according to the time used or according to the output. Tukisema umelipwa kwa piecework, na maanisha umelipwa kulingana na zile vitu umetengeneza ama umelipwa kulingana na ile masaa umefanya kazi. Swali itakuspecify. So in this one wanasema for calculation of piecework earnings, the company uses value each minute at the rate of 0.5. So this one now depends on the time you used in the production process. So now here, number 2, they want us to compute on the piece rates, piecework rates. So I'm saying piece rates. So we start with the Mambo. Mambo, we want to know the total minutes used for the production. So Mambo produced, we have product A. He produced 42 units. Can you see it? And then they have the standard time allowed per unit at that is 6. So you multiply by 6 in order to get, unaambiwa hii kitu lazima utumie dakika 6 kwa moja. Hiyo ndio standard. na umetengeneza vitu 42. So tunataka kujua umetumia dakika ngapi. Tuna multiply na hiyo. Si ni kweli? Aya, product B akatengeneza vitu 72. He made 72 items. Each item is required to take 9 minutes. And then product C akatengeneza 92 items. Each unit is supposed to take how many minutes? 15. So when you multiply this one, that one is the time allowed and the minutes used. So kwa kila kitu umeambiwa wewe tumia dakika 6. Hiyo ndio sawa. Tumia dakika ngapi? 6. Tunaelewana? Uko sawa? So how many minutes? Ngapi? Sorry? 2280. So 2280, and then we have been told the amount, the rate that is given for each minute, the rate is 0. So these are the total minutes used or allowed. So you multiply by 0.5. Unapata ngapi? So shillings 1140. Aya, tunatoka kwa mambo, tunaenda kwa Saidi. Saidi, product A alitengeneza ngapi? 120 times 6 plus 76 times 9. So that how many minutes? $14. So this is 14.04 minutes. And then you multiply by 0.5. Unapata ngapi? 702. So that is the total earnings for Saidi. That is the total earnings for Saidi. And then we have who? We have an employee called who? Mbogo. Mbogo, product A produced nothing. Product B, nothing. Product C, 50 units. And then you multiply by 15. How many minutes are those? 740. 750 minutes. And then you multiply by 0.5. Unapata ngapi? Sorry? 375. So that is Mbogo. And then we have lastly Zainabu. Zainabu, product A, 120 units times 6 plus product B, 270. 270 times 9. How many minutes? 31? So this one will be 3150. And then you multiply by 0.5. So what do you get? Shillings 1575. So that is the earnings when you're using the piece rate. When you're using the piece rates. And then Roman 3, they want us to compute the bonus. They want us to compute the bonus. So they want us to compute the bonus. So how do you compute the bonus? Bonus, for you to compute the bonus, you need to compare the time saved. So bonus here we can say here we have the employees. Employees. So we have the employees here. And then here we are comparing time allowed vis-a-vis time taken. And then here we have time saved. So we have an employee called Mambo. Time allowed. This is the time allowed. He was told every unit you make of product A, you should lose how many minutes? 6. So he made 42. So if you multiply 6 times 42, you get the total time allowed. So all these minutes, this is the total time allowed. So it's going to be 2280, you divide by 60. We convert them into hours. These are, how many hours are those? For the work done, that is the time allowed. 38 hours, isn't it? So he was allowed 38 hours. And then time taken. Actual hours worked, he worked how many hours? 38. So he saved nothing. Remember, bonus you are paid in accordance with the time you save. If you don't save time, you are not entitled to bonus. And then we go to who? Saidi. Saidi, the total time allowed was 104, 1404. So 1404, you divide by 60. You divide by 60, you convert it into hours. How many? Unapata ngapi? So 23.4 hours. 23.4. And then how many hours worked? 30? He worked at 6. So he saved nothing. In fact, he worked more hours than time allowed. We go to Mbogo. Mbogo, 750. You divide by 60. How many hours? 12.5. And then how many hours worked? He worked 40 hours. So he saved nothing. Then we go to the last one, Zainabu. Zainabu, 3150. 3150, you divide by 60. What do you get? 52.5. And then the actual hours worked 34. So he saved, isn't it? So he saved how many hours? The difference. So 18.5. So this one saved 18 point. She's the only one that will be entitled to bonus. She's the only one that will be entitled to bonus. So Zainabu, we are calculating the bonus that Zainabu is the only person who will be entitled to bonus. So you go to the bonus instruction. How do they compute their bonus according to the question? So Roman 3 says premium bonus, given that an employee earns premium bonus at the rate of 2/3 of time saved. So in other words, 2/3 of time saved. You just write the way they have written. 2/3 of time saved. 18 point. So in other words, they pay 2/3 of these hours. And then you convert it into money. You give her according to her the rate per hour. So in other words, 2/3 of the time saved times the rate. Rate yake ni ngapi? Hourly rate yake ni ngapi? Times 36. Unaelewa? So unapata ngapi? 444. So it is the Zainabu only who is given bonus. So this is part B of the question. Part B of the question. Down there, part B of the question say, Ushindi Limited manufactures ornament for export trade. Jobs are allocated to 2 operators, Botella and Juma, with bonus paid for hours saved. In the month of February 2005, Botella made 186 units and Juma 210 units. For it, the time allowed of 30 standard minutes and 25 standard minutes per unit respectively was credited. The basic wage rate was 18 shillings per hour for both employees. For every hour saved, a bonus was paid at 20% of the basic wage rate. Hours worked in excess were paid at the basic wage rate plus 2/3. Mbotela completed his job in 44 hours and Juma completed his job in 39 hours. A basic working week has 40 hours required. For each employee, for each operator, the amount of bonus payable and the total gross wage payable and the wage cost per unit. So they want us to compute the bonus. So we are doing part B of the question, part B of the question. So the first thing they want us to compute the bonus. That is Roman 1. So we're doing part B, Roman 1. So the first requirement is that you compute the bonus. So how do you compute the bonus? The bonus, you compare the time allowed vis-a-vis the time taken. If there is any savings, you get the bonus. So here we have 2 employees. We have who? Botella And we have who? Juma. So here we write time allowed. Time allowed. So for Mbotela, each unit was given how many minutes? He was supposed to take how many minutes? 30. So 186 are the items that were produced by who? Mbotela. Each unit was supposed to take how many minutes? 30. So when you multiply by 30, you get the total minutes allowed. And then you divide by 60, you must convert it into hours. So unapata ngapi? Huh? Ngapi? 90. 93. So hii ndo time allowed. Love time taken. Hii haukompute unakuwa umepewa. He took how many hours? So we're saying Mbotela completed his job in 44. So he took 44 hours to finish his job. So time saved. Ile time amesave. Alisave masaa mangapi? 49. So he saved 49 hours. So what is the bonus? What is the instructional bonus? Bonus, we're being told, where is the bonus? So the basic wage rate was 18 shillings per hour for both employees. For every hour saved, a bonus was paid at 20% of the basic wage rate. So basic wage rate is 18 shillings per hour. So every hour paid, you are paid 20% of that. So it is 20% of your basic wage rate, which is 18 times the total number of hours you saved. Hiyo ndio bonus. Tunaelewana? So 20% of the basic wage rate times the total number of hours saved. Unapata ngapi? $176. So this is 176.4. That is the bonus for Mbotela. Then we had another worker here called Juma. Juma time allowed, he made 210 units. Each unit was allowed for 25 minutes. Of course, you divide by 60, you convert it into hours. How many hours are those? Eh? 87 point. So this is 87.5. So tukuje hapa, we go here. Time taken, he completed the job in 39 hours. So he used 39 hours. Time saved. Time saved. 48. So 48.5. And then now bonus is 20%. So the bonus will be 20% of 18 times 48.5. What do you get? 174? 174.6. Now, I hope unaangalia. So that is how we compute bonus. So another thing that I think this one is not needed because already we have it in the handouts. Yes, ndio. Ama unataka kupiga picha. So hii iko namna hiyo. Nifute hii. Sawa sawa. So tunakuja sasa, we have through the first requirement, but to do the total gross wage payable. So gross wage, how do you compute the gross wage? Gross wage is equals to the basic pay plus bonus plus overtime. So that is the procedure for computing the gross wage. So tunakuja hapa kwa Mbotela. So we have Mbotela. And then we have Juma. So we start with the basic pay. Basic pay, remember we said it is the minimum number of hours in a week mostly times the rate per hour. So if you're given the minimum number of hours you're supposed to work in a week, you give it consideration. If you've not been given that one, you take the total number of hours worked times the rate. So here we have been given the minimum number of hours in a week, which is 40. So here we're going to multiply 40 times 18. What is 40 times 18? 18 is the rate per hour. Unapata ngapi? 7,000. 720. So they are earning the same, 720. Then bonus. We have already computed the bonus. For Mbotela is 176.4. And for Juma is, and then there is overtime. So if you work overtime, what is the pay? You go to the instruction of overtime. So hours worked in excess were paid at the basic hourly rate plus 2/3. So now we compare the number of hours. Mbotela worked for 44 hours. Mbotela. The minimum number of hours you're supposed to work is 40. So he worked in excess of how many hours? 4. So it will be 44 minus 40. And then they are saying, what are you paying? For every hour saved, paid at the basic hourly rate plus 2/3. So you multiply 1 times 2/3 times 18. Unaelewa? Sijui kama tunaelewana. When you work normal hour, ukiwork normal hour, si overtime unalipwa 18, si ndio? Any extra hour, ukiwork extra hour, unalipwa 2/3 of the normal hour. 2/3, unalipwa ngapi? 2/3. 2/3 ya 18 ni ngapi? 2/3 of 18 is how much? 12. So unalipwa ngapi? 30. For every hours umework excess, unalipwa ngapi? 30. The normal rate ni 18. Tunaelewana? Ndio hiyo. Hiyo 1 ndio hiyo normal ya normal. Alafu unaongezewa 2/3. 2/3 ndio hiyo 12. So una convert this kwa proper fraction na multiply na 8. Alafu na multiply na 4. Utapata ngapi? So you convert this one into a proper fraction. 1 times 3 plus 2. Nakuja ngapi? 5. Si ndio? This is 3 times 1. Nakuja ngapi? 3. Si ndio? Plus 2. Nakuja ngapi? 5. Divide by 3 times 18. You multiply by 4. Unapata ngapi? 120. So si amework 4 hours in extra. Una multiply hapa na 4. Si natupatia tu 120. Siko sawa? So this is 120. Juma hakufanya overtime. Yeye alifanya kazi 39 hours. So hana overtime. So hiyo ni dash. Sijui kama tunaelewana ama naenda mbio. Tuko sawa? So iko hivyo. So that is how it is. So this one worked for every hours you worked in excess, you're given 1/2/3. 1/2/3 means the normal rate, which is 1, then 2/3 times the rate itself. And then now here, that is the overtime. So the gross wage, you add them together, those 3 items. So this is the gross wage. This is the gross wage. This one is how much? Eh? 10, 16.4. This other one? 894.6. So that is the gross wage. So the gross wage wage cost per unit, wage cost per unit. So it is 1016.4 over the total number of units yenye ametengeneza. Huyu alitengeneza ngapi? 186. 894.6 divided by 210. So hapo unapata ngapi? So how much do you get? Eh? 524. Shillings, 5.46 per unit. The other one? Shillings, 4.26 per unit. So that is how we do that kind of question. Anything that is not clear up to that point? So we have another question that was done. Several questions. At the last sitting, we had a question, but yes. Overtime tumesema, ukifanya extra hour, badala ya kulipwa 30, utaongezewa 12 bob. So unalipwa 30 bob, badala ya 18. Na yeye amefanya masaa mangapi? Amefanya masaa mangapi extra? 4. So ndio yeye amepata 120, si ndio? So you are paid 1/2. 1/2. Hiyo 1 ndio 18. 2/3 ndio 12, si ndio? Sawa sawa. That is what you are given. So there is a question that was done in, is it November 2011? So let us open November 2011. So we're going to do so many questions on this one. If time allows, we'll do all the questions that are, swali zote zenye zimeletwa za labor hapa. So November 2011, question number 2A. You can look at hizo past paper mzee. Kama una past papers, una liars. Kama umekuja late, unajua kuna student wengine wanakuja late na wanasema hawana vitu na hawajauliza. November 2011, question number November 2011, question 2B. November 2011. So you're doing labor remuneration for your information, and we are about to finish the topic. So if November 2011, so you should not be absent. We are moving with a lot of speed. You say now we have finished this one. Next time you are coming, we have finished overheads, and we are telling you exam we are through the topics. Now you start complaining, and you are the one who was becoming. You're not coming consistently. You come today, like I've so many people I'm not seeing yesterday, isn't it? So when you start now missing classes, it becomes very complex. So we are doing November 2011, question number 2A. November 2011, CPA November 2011. I don't know whether you have it. Umepata? Which page is it? Those scanned papers. November 2011, question number 2A. So the question reads, Babycom Limited manufactures different types of toys. The company engages 3 employees, Abel, Bilha, and Charles. So the following information relates to the certain week for the 3 employees. So we have Abel, Bilha, and Charles. Units produced should be given 300 for Abel, 528 for Bilha, and 120 for Charles. Time allowed per unit is 15 minutes for Abel, 7.5 for Bilha, and 20 for Charles. Units rejected, 74 for Abel. So we are beginning with that table there. And then additional information. A bonus is paid at 66 2/3%. 66 2/3% of the basic hourly rate for all time saved. And number 2, owing to faulty materials, creating abnormally high rate of rejection, it was agreed to credit all output for bonus purposes. And number 3, the first 8 hours worked in excess are paid at the basic hourly rate plus 1/3. And the next 8 hours at the basic hourly rate plus 1/2. Number 4, a basic week has 40 hours required. Determine for each employee the amount of basic, the amount of bonus payable. Number 2, the gross wages payable, and the wages cost per good unit. So that is total marks 8. So you first have the analysis. You come here and do the analysis here. You do your own analysis. So we have the employees. You write them here, employees. And then here you write time allowed. time allowed. And then here, time taken. Time taken. And then here we have time saved. And then here, overtime. Overtime. So you need to know the overtime hours. So we go to the first employee, is called who? Abel. So you write there Abel. Time allowed. Time allowed, he produced 300 units. So now, we said here, it was not, they produced some faulty items. That is default items. And according to what we have been told, it was not their faulty. They were given some faulty materials, isn't it? So therefore, all the units produced, we are not going to deduct the rejected units. In some other question where it is your fault, they reduce the units produced by the faulty units. Tumeelewana? So in other words, if you produce a defective item, it is going to reduce your output. If you produce a defective item, it reduces your output. But in this case, we're going to take all the units produced. So because it is not their fault, they were given a wrong faulty materials. So now for him, Abel, it is 300 multiplied by 15, and then you divide by 60. These are the total hours, time allowed in hours. How many hours are those? The number of units produced times the minutes per hour, per unit, sorry, over 60. So when you multiply the units produced times the times per unit, you get the total minutes. So he was allowed 75 hours. Time taken, how many hours did he take? Actual hours worked was 48. So he worked 48. So how many hours saved? 75 minus 48. So he saved 27 hours. And then how many hours over time? Remember the minimum hours you're supposed to work in a week is 40. So he worked how many hours? 48. So he worked. So that overtime itakuwa ngapi? 8. Sio iko sawa? Aya, we go to who? Bilha. Bilha, 528 units produced. Each unit is given 7.5 minutes. You divide by 60 to convert it into hours. So how many hours? 66. So these are 66 hours. And then actual hours worked, 54. Time saved, 12 hours. Overtime, 14. Overtime is the minimum hours times the actual hours worked. Minus. And then we have the last person is Charles. Charles is 120 times 20, 120 being the units produced, and 20 time allowed per unit over 60, which do you get? 40. So you get 40. Actual hours work, time taken, 40. Time saved, 0. Overtime, 0. So we start with Bill here, unakuja kwa Abel. So we want to answer all the questions. They want us to compute the basic wage, the gross wage payable, the bonus. So the total is, so we start with the basic pay. We start with the basic pay here. We start with Abel. The basic pay for Abel, so it is, the basic rate per hour is 30. So it's going to be 40, the minimum number of hours, and then you multiply by 30. What do you get? 1,000? 1,200, isn't it? And then now here we come here, bonus. Bonus, you go to the bonus, not additional information number 1. A bonus is paid at 66 2/3% of the hourly rate of all time saved. So 66 2/3, and then you multiply percent. And then you multiply by the 66 2/3 of the basic hourly rate. Basic hourly rate yake ni ngapi? basic hourly rate yake ni ngapi? 30. Si ndio? 66 2/3% of 30 and then times the total time saved 27. So now you want to convert the money to a percentage. Si ndio? Si mnajua vile mnafanya? Can we do it? You know how to do it? 66 2/3% times 30 times 27. 540. 54,000. Are you sure? $540, 54,000. Which one is the correct? 540, si ndio? Iko hivyo? Is it so? And then overtime. Overtime, you've been told for the first 8 hours you work in excess, you're given the first 8 hours worked in excess, additional information number 3, are paid at basic hourly rate plus 2/3. So the first 8 hours, so this one 8 hours. So you are paid, first 8 hours worked in excess, you are paid at the basic hourly rate. So basic hourly rate plus 1/3. So that one will be the overtime. So the first 8 hours you work in excess. This is 30. So you know what 1/3 times 30, 8. $320. So unalipo 320. So you paid 320. And then now we get the gross wage payable. Gross wage. This is the gross wage. You add all those 3 items. Sorry. 2060. Anything that is not clear? Wage cost per good unit. Wage cost per good unit. So you're going to be 2060 over the total units that were produced, which is 300. You deduct the rejected, which is 74. So unapata ngapi? Wage cost per good unit. Zile vitu mzuri. The only good items. We want to know the wage cost per unit. So how much? How much? $90. So shillings 9 per unit. Shillings 9 per unit. Then we go to who? We go to Bill. That was Abel. We go to Bilha. So Bilha, the basic pay. The basic pay for Bilha is the basic pay is going to be 50 times 40 times 50, which is 2,000. And then the bonus is going to be 66 2/3% multiplied by 50, and then you multiply by how many hours? 12 saved. So you multiply by 12. Napata ngapi? Tuko salama? Huh? 400. And then here we have overtime. The first 8 hours are paid 1/3 times 50 times 8. Then the next 8 hours at the basic hourly rate plus 1/2. 1/2. So here he worked 14. 14 minus 8, 6 times 50 times 6. Nani hajaelewa hiyo? Who has not understood that? The first 8 hours, you're given one third, isn't it? The next 8 hours, any hours in excess, one half. Any hours in excess of 8, one half. So he worked 14 hours in excess. So it will be one third for the first 8 hours in excess, then one half for the next 6 hours. So how much is that? Five 533.3. The other next one? 450. Gross wage? Total 33, 83, 33.3. So wage cost per good unit, wage cost per good unit. So the total number of units produced is 3383.3 divided by 528 minus units rejected 126. Nakuja ngapi? Shillings 8.4. Shillings 8.4 per unit. And then we go to the last one. It's called Charles. Basic pay for Charles. Basic pay is going to be 40 times 25, which is how much? 1,000. Then bonus 0. Overtime 0. So gross wage 1,000. Wage cost per good unit 1,000. And then you take 120. 120 minus 40 units rejected. Unapata ngapi? Shillings 12.5 per unit. So that is how we do those questions. Any questions so far? I think at this moment we can attempt. It's good to attempt these questions, isn't it? So let me give you this question you attempt. We go to our past papers. Don't take a lot of time, usichukue a lot of time. So these are questions that you should do. Ukizipata kwa mtihani una celebrate na unaanza na hizo. They're very, very, very easy. So there are so many questions that have become of late. So we go to which paper is this? Just a minute. So can you attempt December 2021 question number 1? December 2021 question number 1. So attempt December 2021 question number 1, DEC 2021 question number 1 right away. And then So December 2021, question number 1, anza na hiyo. This topic is applicable. In fact, hiyo swali ya December 2021 ilitolewa kwa ATD. So mtu ATD asema tizeni vitu za CPA. So they got the same, okay? So that question was hivyo vile iko kila kitu paka na wording. Ilitolewa kwa Hamna hiyo paper? You don't have that paper? Hakuna hapo? December 2021 iko haiko? Iko sawa. Hiyo mpya. Day 2021 sinaona ziko. And then you also attempt November 2020 question number 2. November 2020 question number 2. Which one do you want to start with? Question number 2. You want to start with this one? Yes, start with this one. Then this one is take away. Okay? This one you'll do it at home. This one you are doing it here. So how many minutes? They don't take long, this one. It can take you even 10 minutes if you understand. But if you don't understand, now it's a... So now we have 10, at 10:30 ndarudi. 10:30 ndarudi nione. In the meantime, you can, when is today? Or 1st February. Let me go and bring another one for February. Sasa. Zungu. Say ruler. December 2021. December 2021 question number 1B. Si ndio hiyo ndio ya labor? Yeah. Tufanye hiyo ingine. Tunafanya hiyo ya labor, please. So anyone who has finished? December 2021. I want to, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So kila mtu anatoa 100. Because nyinyi mtakuwa mmeanguka. Boss, sasa umesema umekuja late. Ukikuja late unatoa fine. Unafanya eme? Ukikuja late unatoa fine. Au wamesema ukikuja late unatoa 200. If you come late, you are fine. Anyone who is through?
I'm going to be a narrow discussion.
60 plus 2,400 times 100 divided by 60. This is time allowed. So the time allowed per unit here, all of them is 640. So all the group must work for them to accomplish one product. They must take 63 minutes, all of them. Tumeelewana? So wale wajipange, hiyo ujue wale watachukua dakika ngapi, wachukue dakika ngapi, hiyo product ikwe, it should have passed through the 3 groups. But the total time taken should not be more than 63 minutes. So the units produce 640 times 63, isn't it? You divide by 60. Are we together? So here we to give us the time allowed. And then here we compare with the time taken. Time taken. So group A has, grade 1 has 40 workers, isn't it? So plus the other one has how many workers? 16. The other one is you multiply by 64 plus the other one has how many workers? 64. You multiply by 50. This one will give us time taken. So there were 40 workers. Each worker worked how many? 30 hours. That is grade 1. Is it so? And then there were 16 workers in that particular room where grade 2 people are. Each worker how many more? 64. So now this one will give you the number of hours. So this one is the time allowed. This is the time taken. So can we do that one? 70? Which one? 72? 32 hours. And there 72, 32. 72, 32 hours. So these are the hours time allowed. Time taken 54? Huh? 54, 24 hours. So time saved, the difference, 1808 hours. Unaona hiyo maneno? So Robert 1 anasema percentage of hours saved to hours taken. So percentage of hours, percentage of hours saved. Hours saved is 1808 to hours 5224. 5424 times 100. That is a percentage. That is Roman 1. Nakuja ngapi? 33 and a third %. That is, nani alipata hiyo? Wewe ulipata? Hebu nione. third %. Na wewe? Wewe ulipata? Wapigeni makofi hao wawili. Ama mtawapatia 100. 100, si ndio? So that is Roman 1. And then bonus due to the group. Bonus due to the group. So Roman 2, they want us to compute the bonus due to the group. So grade 1, tunataka kujua grade 1 wanapata bonus gani? Bonus due to the group. So grade 1, how do they calculate the bonus? What is the use? Bonus is paid at 80% of the workers' base rate and is shared by the workers in the proportion of time spent on their job. So grade 1, this is the total. They have to share these hours. They have to share these hours. So we want to know out of these hours, what will be their proportion. So it is given in the proportion of, is proportion of time spent. So it's going to be 40 times 30. That is the time they spend, okay? Over the total time, which is 5424 times 18,0, so that we know the total hours that they are in total to grade 1. We want to know that out of these hours they are sharing, in, isn't it? So we want to know, so remember bonus is based on the hours you save, isn't it? So these are the total hours for the 3 grades. So we want to know the hours that are attributable to grade 1. How many hours are those? How many hours are those? How many hours are those? So they are taking 400 hours. So now what will be the bonus? The bonus is paid 80% of the workers' base rate. 80% of the workers' base rate. So it will be 80% of their base rate is 300 times 400. Hiyo ndio bonus ya grade 1. Umeelewana? So 80% of the base rate times the hours. Then we go to grade 2. Grade 2, it is 16 times 64. You divide by 54, 24, you multiply by 8 times 8. Excuse me. So what do you get? Huh? 341? 341.23. 341.3. Those are the number of hours. And then 80% times their base rate is 270 times 341.3. That is grade 2. Grade 3. Grade 3. Grade 3 is going to be 64 times 50. So that one will give us the total hours over 54, 24 times 1808. How many hours are those? $10.6. So this was going to be 80% of 240 times 1066.6. Who has got the first one? Huh? 96,000. This is 96,000. This other one? 73? 73, 728. And the other one? Huh? 204. So this is the total bonus. You add all that. That is the total bonus. So how much? And then here we have the gross wage. The gross wage, that is the last requirement. So it's going to be basic pay plus bonus. So we don't have overtime here. So the basic pay is going to be grade 1. We had how many workers? We had 40. So it will be 40 times 30 times 300 plus 16 times 64 times 270 plus 64 times 50 times 240. So that one will give you the total basic wage. So this is the number of hours worked, the rate per hour. The number of hours worked, the rate per hour. The number of hours worked, the rate per hour. So there were 40 workers. Each worker worked how many hours? 30 hours. It gives you the total number of hours. You multiply, and then you add the bonus. You add the bonus. This is the bonus here. You add the bonus here, you get the gross wage. So that is how you do that question. So we had the other one. It was which year was that, the other one? So you attempt that one, and then you attempt the one that was done last sitting. So you have a lot of assignment. When you attempt, you bring it over. When you attempt, you bring it over. If you want to be a wise student. No, there's wisdom and there's knowledge. Wisdom is when you apply knowledge. Now you know it is good to follow the teacher because your objective is to pass exams. So you have to follow. Mwenye hajasign hapa? How are you? Basi advance fare. Think itakuwa hapa lakini unaweza tulia tu hapo kidogo. Simulation. So naona kuna student anakuja leo. Yes, anaitwa nani ule? Ni Steven amemiss class ngapi?